You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I saw a story today that I can't believe this is happening in America, but this is Biden's America. Baby formula shortage. This is CBS News. So this is liberal CBS News. Listen to this. The supply of baby formula, one of the most important products for new parents, I remember those days.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Is so constrained right now that retailers are limiting the amount of baby formula customers are allowed to purchase.
That is scary.
In order to preserve their inventories.
Oh, my goodness.
The drugstore chains, Walgreens and CVS and Target have put limits on how many baby formula products consumers can purchase at one time. A spokesperson for Walgreens told CBS that it is limiting customers to 3 infant and toddler formula products per transaction, citing increased demand and various supplier issues. By the way, I just saw this is a supply chain issue. The supply chain is under the realm of Mayor Pete as the Secretary of Education, and Mayor Pete and his husband are going to Europe for the Invictus Games.
I'm sure they have no problem getting formula for their baby.
No, that's true.
Or whatever.
That's
I don't
true.
know if they have 1 or 2 kids, but
CVS has said it's imposed a limit of 3 baby formula products per purchase in stores and online until it can procure sufficient supply
wait a minute.
From its vendors.
3 per purchase?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so can you go to the store with your husband or wife and they
6.
buy 3 and get 6? I mean, that is crazy.
But a lot of people don't have a husband or a boyfriend. There's a lot of single moms out there.
Okay, hold on. So if you go to the baby aisle and you want to get the jarred little Gerber food,
that's not baby formula. That's baby food, baby formula.
Okay,
the baby formula
can come in powder or cans.
That's right,
So
like liquid or powder.
We got Emily the liquid in the cans, but you can also buy the powder. So if you buy the powder, you can buy 3 at a time.
No, you can buy total. You can buy only 3 baby formula products. So you could buy 2 powder, 1 liquid, 2 liquid, 1 powder.
Okay, but you can go back the next day if you have to.
If you've got a ride. A lot of women are all alone.
Yeah.
And getting to the store.
No, I know. I'm just trying to clarify. I'm not saying it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Target confirmed it has placed.
It should not be happening in America.
Yeah. Target has confirmed it's placed limitations on baby formula purchases. Consumers can purchase 4 pieces of a given baby formula product at a time. Prices of baby formula, which 3/4 of babies in the U.S. receive during their first 6 months, have also spiked.
Yeah.
The average cost of baby formula products is up as much as 18% over the last 12 months. And, people that have babies for the most part are the people that are most financially strained because you're younger, they're just starting out in life a lot of times. Supply chain snarls related to COVID are contributing to formula shortages, says liberal CBS News. It's not COVID, it's Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and Mayor Pete, the Secretary of Transportation. Now, let me tell you,
that's awful.
Baby formula is vital. This is also a problem depending on where you live, right? Where we live, we've got 2 super Walmarts within 2 miles of each other.
Yeah.
We've got 4 grocery stores in the neighborhood. A lot of people, though, we're 5 minutes.
Yeah, for us, it's easy.
A lot of people, though, a store may be an hour away, a half hour away.
I know my best friend, Walmart's 45 minutes from our house. I mean, she lives in BFE.
Yeah. When we had a complete shutdown under Donald Trump of the global economy, I don't remember reading about baby formula shortages. I remember toilet paper shortages, but not baby formula shortages.
This is awful. People must be panicked. And if you're like Mayor Pete and his husband, they can't breastfeed. I mean, they need that formula.
Oh, believe me, they get it. They get it, Kathy.
I'm sure they're not having any issues. But, when Emily was little, I couldn't breastfeed her. Not all women can. I had medical, she was adopted. So, and I'm on too many medications. Men, as much as they want to be women, some men, they can't breastfeed. Sorry. They don't have the mammary glands for that. They could get fake boobs, but they still can't breastfeed.
But a lot of women cannot breastfeed for all kinds of reasons.
No, they can. In fact, I know a lot of my friends when they were having kids tried, and they just couldn't do it. Some of them said it was very painful. And if you have your baby, I mean, 3/4 of the babies are on formula, so that tells you a quarter are being breastfed. It's not a thing anymore. You know, back in the olden days, they would have nursemaids that would come in and breastfeed the kids for you. If you were rich, I guess.
That was a long time ago.
That's what women, exactly. But not as many women do it now, I think, as they're used to.
Well, they shouldn't have
to. They're busy. They work.
Listen, the reason this is a problem is because we've got a checked out senile old coot with Alzheimer's as the president. We've got a Secretary of Transportation who's never done a job or done a damn thing in his life other than pose to try to get another job. And he's off to the Invictus Games, which I don't know. I know there was the movie with Matt Damon. I guess is it rugby? I don't even know what this
guy's on permanent vacation.
His whole life's a vacation.
The world is in crisis, and he never does anything. Yeah. He's absolutely useless. He doesn't even. It's not even that he's on vacay.
Mayor Pete.
It's that it's a lack of empathy and a lack of concern. And if he had any empathy or concern in his heart, he would say, you know what, this is a bigger problem. I'm going to put aside my own needs and fix this problem so mothers can feed their kids. I mean, this is appalling.
Well, I'm of the opinion, and you guys listening can let us know in the comments, I believe Mayor Pete is not just an incompetent. I believe he's a sociopath. I don't believe he cares about anyone but himself.
That's for
and
sure.
He's the first openly gay cabinet member. Janet Reno might have been the first. It might have been someone before her, but she wasn't openly gay.
No, she was not.
And we had
she was just apparently gay.
We had Janet Reno on the radio on the phone. I had gotten her phone number, and I called Janet Reno at home, and this lady answered. And I asked for Janet Reno. And Janet, the phone's for you. And then she came over. It was hilarious.
Was that her girlfriend?
I guess it was at her house of mine. But anyway, that's a big deal. And it's not funny, this thing about baby formula shortages. With our daughter, we were talking, there may be new things now because our daughter's grown, but 23. But there's powdered and liquid. And we first started with the powder. And she couldn't use the powder. She had constipation issues as a baby, so we had to go to liquid.
Yeah, which is more money.
It is. And so when you go to the store, if there's a shortage and you're limited, sometimes a baby needs a particular kind of baby formula. They just can't take whatever's on the shelf. Sometimes a child needs a particular brand.
Right.
And these shortages, and I got news for you.
What about you're like I was allergic to milk as a kid?
Yeah.
So I had to have soy, which is not as common. I had to have soy milk which is disgusting, I'm sure. But my brother and I had to have that.
Yeah. And, this sociopathic transportation secretary who I don't even know if he has a driver's license and can drive a car. I've never seen Mayor Pete drive a car.
Isn't that incredible? You have somebody who's the transportation secretary and they don't even drive.
Well, he might. I've never seen him.
No, he gets driven.
No, before he was secretary.
He's probably hasn't had an act. None of those people have active licenses. Are you kidding me?
They
get driven everywhere.
I don't know. But this is a pretty big deal. And it really awful. Shows you the incompetence. And what else are there shortages of that we don't even know? And this one just came out of the blue to me, and it's pretty tough. Okay, now there's some really exciting stuff going on here with Elon Musk. He put in this Elon Musk is going to take over Twitter one way or another, okay? He made this offer, which right now as we speak, the Twitter board of directors are in a meeting deciding whether or not they're going to accept Elon Musk's offer. And most experts say, but what do experts know? If these Wall Street experts knew what they were talking about all the time, they'd all be billionaires buying stocks, right?
Yeah.
But everyone's predicting they're going to turn it down. But everyone also agrees, though, that if they turn it down, which is expected, Elon Musk is going to do a hostile takeover.
Ooh, that'll be fun.
And I've got this article that explains
I admire the hell out of this guy.
I love Elon Musk.
But, I wonder, I know Trump wants to get back on Twitter, but I wonder how he feels about this. He spent all this money and time with Truth Social, which, by the way, He doesn't even post on his
He
own.
posted once on President's Day.
Yeah, that's been like 2 months.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. I wonder, because I'm sure Elon Musk will reinstate him. What does that mean for Truth Social?
Well, he'll have his own platform. So the only thing I know about hostile takeovers is from Wall Street. So I found an article that he talks about this in particular with Elon Musk. And here's the headline: How Elon Musk could win control of Twitter even if board refuses his offer. Breakdown of a very hostile takeover bid by a genius who is used to getting what he wants. Of course, the richest African American, Elon Musk. So here, let me go through this article. Elon Musk is offered to buy Twitter for $41.39 billion with a B dollars.
Oh, my goodness.
That's right. His offer price of $54.20 per share represents a 38% premium to the closing price of Twitter stock on April 1st. That was the last trading day before his 9% investment became public. So what that means is 38% above the premium. That means whatever it was that day, the price he offered, this $54.20, is 38% greater than it was on that day. So that's a pretty good profit. It appeared to reference, in his announcement, he appeared to reference marijuana, also known as 420, a common reference used by Musk on Twitter. Okay, and 420, by the way, is my birthday, April 20th, which is also International Marijuana Day. Twitter said in a filing on Thursday that Elon Musk, who is the company's biggest shareholder, provided a letter to the company that contained a proposal to buy the remaining shares of Twitter that he does not already own. The firm's board said it will now consider the offer. Musk could ultimately overrule any decision they make if shareholders decide to take up his proposal. So let me skip down a little bit. He also sent a letter out today, Elon Musk, just a little bit ago, saying he has lost confidence in the board of directors. So, and he's the largest shareholder. So in his letter, he says this: I invested in Twitter as I believe in its potential to be the platform for free speech around the globe. And I believe free speech is a societal imperative for a functioning democracy. However, since making my investment, I now realize the company, that's Twitter, will neither thrive nor serve the societal imperative in its current form. Twitter needs to be transformed as a private company. So he wants to buy it and take it from a public company, turn it into a private company. Twitter confirmed they've received his offer, and they're reviewing. They met today at 1 o'clock. So they are actually meeting right now as Kathy and I are speaking. So then they go through this. What is a hostile takeover, okay? Tesla chief Elon Musk has launched a hostile takeover bid for Twitter, offering to buy 100% of its stock and take it private, a stock exchange filing revealed. A hostile takeover occurs when an acquiring company or individual attempts to assume control of the organization against the wishes of its current management, which would be the board of directors. An offer such as Elon Musk's, which was made out of the blue and without board approval, can be considered a hostile takeover. The acquiring party, that would be Elon Musk, can achieve a takeover by fighting to replace the company's leadership, or as Musk did, by issuing an offer for the company and attempting to buy the necessary stock on the open market. Musk has offered to buy the social media platform for about $41 billion, saying that Twitter, he's often criticized them as a blah, blah, blah. It goes on to a whole bunch of things. His offer price of $54.20 is a 8% premium to its April 1st close. It goes on and on. So he's going to buy it. He's going to buy it. He's going to take it private. And everybody that's running this place is going to be fired. And I'll tell you something.
Oh, yeah, it'll be fun.
This Elon Musk takeover of Twitter, and I pray, and I seriously do, not as a figure of speech, I really truly do pray that Elon Musk takes over Twitter. I think Twitter is a poison on our entire planet. And you know what's happened with Twitter, okay, if the censoring they do is bad, but it only goes one way, right? It always goes towards conservatives, MAGA conservatives in particular. It never goes the other way. And
I think the Babylon Bee really, maybe he knows those guys, but it really seemed to send him over the edge. The Babylon Bee is the funniest parody publication. Go to their website. They are very clever. It's a conservative parody publication, and they have like digital articles and things like that, and they are hilarious. Whoever writes for them, very clever, very funny. It pokes fun at liberals for the most part, and they were banned or blocked or whatever like last month, and that seems to be the catalyst for this happening because he was defending them, and maybe he's good friends with those guys, and maybe
it was reported that Elon Musk consulted with the Babylon Bee before he bought the 9%.
That seemed to be an issue for him.
And Babylon Bee are one of the few people he follows on Twitter. He doesn't follow many people on Twitter.
Yeah,
and he follows them. And the entire news cycle is driven by Twitter. Twitter is also used by liberal activists and liberal activists only to promote their agenda and cancel out anyone they disagree with. And this bias against conservatives, like yesterday, my favorite TikTok account is Libs of TikTok. And what they do is they monitor TikTok and they take videos of wackadoodle liberals on TikTok and then post them on Twitter. And
very insightful.
And they got their first little strike there from Twitter. They got a 12-hour lock out of their Twitter account where they couldn't post.
Why? And just because they're posting things from TikTok?
I don't know which post got them in trouble.
Wow. They're not editing these things. They're just putting them
I don't know.
As they appear on TikTok.
I don't know, but that getting locked out for 12 hours.
They're laying the groundwork.
Then it's 24, then it'll be a week, and then they'll be banned, and then Libs of TikTok. And Libs of TikTok is
going through the stages.
Amazing, okay? What they do in particular, not just take liberals, what they focus on a lot are school teachers that make TikTok videos in their classroom talking about how they're promoting their very radical liberal agenda. Sometimes it's against America. There was one teacher on Libs of TikTok that made a video from their classroom about how they don't do the pledge in their classroom, and we're bragging about it. Oftentimes, most recently, it's about transgender teachers. And, so there's all kinds of things going on. And it's what Kathy said. All they do are take the videos and then post them on Twitter. They don't really editorialize much.
No, and this is censorship because they do not want the truth to get out. Even though it's on TikTok, these people having it consolidated onto one account here on Twitter where they're being exposed, they don't want you to see this stuff. They're saying the quiet part out loud, and they don't want you to know what's going on in these classrooms because these are shocking videos and people will see them. Not everybody's on TikTok. We're not on it, but a lot of people are on Twitter. And you might have a lot of parents that see these videos and they're like, holy crap.
Well, I know it. You know why? Because
what's going on here?
I've been playing audio from Libs of TikTok for, months on the program. And I've seen Eric Bolling on Newsmax. I've seen Fox News and others use content from Libs of TikTok. And what Libs of TikTok is doing is exposing what the liberals are really all about. So they're trying to shut it down because it's exposing the truth. So Elon Musk taking over Twitter will be a major, major, major game changer in the entire narrative of everything in not just American society, but global society. And this is an amazing thing that's about to happen. And he looks like he has his mind set
and I think
doing it.
You're going to see. This, to me, is, the pendulum is starting to swing in the other direction because liberals are so radicalized and have taken things so extreme to the left that the pendulum is going to start swinging back towards the middle or towards the right. Yeah. And I have a feeling he is not the only multi-billionaire guy, maybe not right now, but down the road, or group of guys that are going to want to take over these social media platforms or create their own. So you see it now. You see new social with Getter, Truth Social, and you see new platforms popping up. And now with this would be a game changer. And I think it would bring back a lot of people onto Twitter. I don't know how Getter or Truth would do because most people work. They don't have time to be on different social media apps all day long. I think if he took over and if he brought back Trump and other people, I think it would be a serious game changer for the world.
No doubt.
Social media it'd be huge. But I don't know if big tech's going to let this happen.
It's not up to big tech. This is a publicly traded company.
They must be freaking out.
This isn't Twitter is not a private company. It's publicly traded. So they just can't say we're not going to sell it. There's a duty that's owed through regulatory bodies and everything else to the shareholders.
Well, what if the shareholders are all liberal and they don't want it to happen?
A lot of shareholders are not. So, and he's the biggest. So now, listen, Mother's Day is coming up right around the corner. Go to MyPillow.com. Use our promo code KANE, K-A-N-E at checkout. K-A-N-E at checkout at MyPillow.com. Save up to 66% at MyPillow.com with our promo code KANE at checkout. K-A-N-E. Get Mom a gift that she'll remember every night for many years to come. The gift of a perfect night's sleep. Promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. Save up to 66% off at MyPillow.com. If I can get the words out. I'm slurring my words. I'm not drinking. I have iced tea. That's all I'm drinking right now.
Long Island iced tea.
No, it's not a Long Island iced tea. It's a Lipton iced tea. All right, let me say it again. Save up to 66% off with the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout at MyPillow.com. We'll be back right after this.
There's no greater friend to President Trump and the MAGA movement than the inventor of the MyPillow, Mike Lindell. He's been canceled by everyone. Banks, Home Shopping Network, QVC, Kohl's, Bed Bath & Beyond. The list goes on. Canceled by everyone but us. Here's Mike Lindell with a message for MAGA.
I had 12 TV stations just the other day now say that I couldn't be in the commercials, that can only say MyPillow. I cannot personally be in them. So I want you to think about that, where they're coming to cancel out this country and they want my voice stopped. That's why everybody's got to speak up. And believe me, they cancel, they will never get to sell my product again. Just like those box stores. When you leave, it's goodbye. Have a nice day. So we're kind of in a unique situation. If you buy all the products, you buy the slippers, buy everything we make, you're not only supporting, getting everything we're doing to save our country, but you're getting a good product in place. So it's not like a normal donor to help me out. I've never asked for help other than to buy my products.
So do what Mike Lindell says. Go to MyPillow.com and use the promo code KANE and save up to 66%. MyPillow.com, promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, or call 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. How many kittens can one girl have? Robin Hollow's picture book, How Many Kittens Can One Girl Have, is best described as a children's book with a huge heart. Pearl and her small black cat, Nugget, live in a little cottage. They're the best of friends and do everything together until one day, a cry from another side of their white picket fence brings an unexpected surprise in the form of a tiny orange-colored kitten who needs a home. Pearl and Nugget take in the stray, naming her Ginger, and the three of them get along famously until three more strays show up in quick succession. Soon, Pearl's tiny cottage is bursting at the seams and chaos reigns. Pearl realizes that everyone is miserable and that things will have to change quickly. Find out how many kittens Pearl ends up with when you read How Many Kittens Can One Girl Have by Robin Hollow. Order your copy right now on Amazon. Have you wanted to try meditation but didn't know how or even where to begin? The book from author Peggy Lunnington, Meditation Manual. Simple directions for a life-changing practice. Available on Amazon is the help you've been seeking. This must-read book is a quick read with a very personal tone, beginning with an intimate glimpse into the author's life and reasons they needed meditation, followed by a brief description of what meditation is and does. Also included are 4 simple exercises that can change a person's life. Author Peggy Lunnington's goal was simple: to make meditation easily accessible for everyone during this unusually stressful period in our collective history. Meditation Manual, Simple Directions for a Life-Changing Practice, debuted as an Amazon #1 new release in its category. Start your meditation journey right now and order your copy of Meditation Manual, Simple Directions for a Life-Changing Practice on Amazon and the author's website, PeggyLunnington.com.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Okay, so everyone's heard all this craziness that's been going on with Disney. There was a huge crowd, hundreds, if not thousands, of people showed up at Disneyland in Anaheim, California, and had a protest. And I have a little clip here.
Yeah, this is California. Liberal California.
Yeah. And I have a little clip here. Let me play this for you.
Grooming is wrong. 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 Grooming is wrong.
Okay, now this is interesting because, like Kathy said, this is in California.
Mm-hmm.
Anaheim, California is where Disneyland is. And unlike Walt Disney World, here in Florida, Walt Disney World, the actual park where the castle is, the Magic Kingdom, is 1 mile away from the Disney World parking lot. You can't get up to the park unless you're on Disney property. This protest at Disneyland, where I just played that clip from, these are hundreds, maybe thousands of people. In Anaheim, Disneyland is in the regular town.
Yeah.
And so
it's like right off the street there.
So they're at the front gate of Disneyland. You can see the Disneyland monorail in the background, and people are ticked. And I must say, the annoyance that people have and anger towards Disney without any organization is absolutely amazing. And it really shows you the left with this transgender stuff. This Leah Thomas has a lot to do with this because that was just, I almost think she's MAGA, Leah Thomas, and is exposing this issue because Leah Thomas put a face on the absurdity of this issue with the swimming. And people without any organization have jumped up. And I got a call on the radio yesterday. Somebody had brought something up that I could not realize. Do you know we do not have a single national Christian leader in this country anymore?
Yeah.
We always had one. Pat Robertson. Jerry Falwell Jr. turned out to be a swinger and screwed that up, right?
Billy
Him and his
Graham.
wife. Yeah. There's no more Jerry Falwell. I know
Maybe they're afraid. Maybe there are pastors like Charles Stanley, Joel Osteen, if you can call him a pastor. There are national figures that have huge churches, but maybe they're kind of afraid. Of course, with Biden, he's really not embracing.
Well, someone like Joel Osteen is more concerned about, making money.
And getting his hair fluffy.
And Charles Stanley, Kathy and I, even though we're Catholic, Charles Stanley, who's a Southern Baptist minister, is our favorite pastor. We've been to his church in person, sat in the front row.
I love him. He's fantastic.
Yeah, Charles Stanley's the best.
Maybe they're afraid to get politically involved.
If Charles Stanley, he's in Atlanta, if he were here, like in our area, we probably never would have become Catholic because we'd be members of his church. He's really good.
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah. And we do not have, though, Christian leadership at a national level anymore. And that makes this protest at Disney even more interesting.
Yeah.
Because
just organized by parents.
Yeah. Through social media, which the liberals are always limiting. This is why the Elon Musk thing's important. Now, here's a clip of Elon Musk talking about Twitter and the buyout of Twitter. So I'm going to play this for you. This is Elon Musk, the richest African American.
Was there a question? why make that offer? Well, I think it's very important for there to be an inclusive arena for free speech where all, Twitter has become kind of the de facto town square. It's just really important that people have both the reality and the perception that they are able to speak freely within the bounds of the law. So one of the things that I believe Twitter should do is open source the algorithm and make any changes to people's tweets. If they're emphasized or de-emphasized, that action should be made apparent so anyone can see that action has been taken. So there's no sort of behind-the-scenes manipulation, either algorithmically or manually.
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing. Once it opens, and a lot of us have been shadow banned. We know this on social media, conservatives. I mean, come on. I should have 10 million followers on every social platform I'm on. I'm pretty well known and all over the place, and I know a lot of you should too. But, this is an interesting thing what Elon Musk said. Not only is he talking about buying Twitter, not only is he talking about making it private, he's talking about this open source software. So if something has changed, so a certain type of person, an individual or a certain type of person, like say a MAGA person, if they do something to the algorithm so those people are shadow banned or can no longer tweet, the whole world will be able to see it because it's going to be available. This is a big game changer. Greg Kelly.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Greg Kelly on Newsmax, who I think is the best person on television. I think he's got the best show on television.
He's fantastic.
I know he does a radio show. In New York City. I've not had the opportunity to catch 1 second of his radio show yet. I'd like to. But his television show on Newsmax, which is on at 7 p.m. Eastern time, I think it's the best hour of news television in America. Yeah, it's better than anything, and he's better than Bill O'Reilly in his heyday. I mean, he's great, Greg Kelly. But Greg Kelly, he makes a great analogy about these banning of people like Trump and Mike Lindell from Twitter and Facebook and stuff. He says, could you imagine when Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone, and he says, no telephone for you, you're a Republican. Only liberals and people that agree with liberals can have telephones. And Twitter is kind of the new telephone, and you use Twitter more than you use a telephone, and you use your phone more for Twitter than actually talking on it. People rarely talk on phones anymore. And
I think if he does this, Twitter will become very powerful again. A lot of people have left Twitter, and it'll become a fun place once again where you hear all kinds of voices. And I don't know what liberals are so afraid of. They're really into silencing people and
because they're so confident they're right.
They don't want people to. They don't want any opposing opinions to get out. They're afraid of other people's points of view or even of the truth. They don't want the truth to get out there, and they're too afraid that too many people will wake up and realize that the liberal way is not the right way. And they know that if they see libs of TikTok and they see all these crazy teachers, they're going to come to their senses and be like, holy crap, I better start paying attention to what's happening in my kid's school. Yeah. They don't want that to happen. They want you to be in the Matrix forever with blinders on, just going along and feeding the beast. Mm-hmm. They don't want you to wake up and take the red pill.
It's really amazing what Elon Musk will do here when he buys it. And you hear him talking about there's some very detailed things. And, when the ban came out of President Trump and some others, and a lot of people in the audience got upset with me. I told all of you, I said I didn't think of Elon Musk. But I said this many times. I said it so many times, people were getting tired of it. Some wealthy people will come along. Someone like Don Jr. will put together a collective of millionaires and billionaires. Some very wealthy individual will come along with an alternative, with something better. That, General Motors, the too big to fail thing, and now they're the third rate. Walmart lost out to Amazon. Blockbuster shut down every independent video store in America, and then Netflix came along and shut Blockbuster down. I said, it's
always a bigger fish.
Someone will come along, and I told you guys out there. I hate to do this. I told you so. I probably shouldn't, but I'm going to do it just this time. I told you guys, do not cancel your Twitters. You do not cancel your Twitter account because you have connections there that are valuable that you've spent years building up, and something will change with this in the future. Here we are a year and a half later. Elon Musk is going to come back with Twitter, and if he came back to Twitter, you'd still be on there.
I'm curious to know if you can leave a comment. How many of you guys that left Twitter will go back on if Elon Musk takes over, or does it have to be Trump getting reinstated?
On Twitter?
Is that what needs to happen for it to happen?
This is I think he'll put Trump back on Twitter.
Right away, I would think.
You know what I wonder, though, and this is an interesting thing.
That would be crazy.
Because President Trump retweeted me twice, and it was like great days in my life, let me tell you, when President Trump retweeted me.
Yeah, that was exciting.
The first time he did it, I woke up in the morning, and I saw a poll. This is when he was running.
Yeah.
And I tweeted something about the poll. There was a poll where he was just way ahead of Hillary, and I said something about President Trump takes a massive lead against Hillary Clinton. It's over for Clinton. And I got out of bed, and I'm in the shower, and I have my phone sitting next to the kitchen sink, and it's just pinging and pinging and pinging.
You mean the bathroom sink?
What did I say?
Kitchen sink.
Oh, well, yeah.
He doesn't shower in the kitchen.
Sometimes. You never know. I have. How do you know I haven't done that? How do you know I haven't done that?
No.
I've been up a long time, guys, okay? This is my second show today, so I might be a little loopy. But anyway, I'm in the shower, and my phone is in the but next to the bathroom sink, and it's pinging and pinging, and I'm like, what is going on? I thought I was getting text messages, and President Trump retweeted me at about 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
He was up, personally retweeted me, and my phone was blowing up for days. It was amazing. But I think he'll put Trump back on Twitter. I don't think Trump will use it at first because he's got truth.
I don't know.
But I don't think he'll be able to resist. I think he'll be back.
He doesn't even use truth.
But here's what I wonder. Okay? Okay, so Trump's been banned. If Elon Musk comes in and puts Trump back on, will he have to start over from 0 followers, or do they still have the data for his followers there?
Yeah, because he was up to like 85 million, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's what I wonder. Yeah, all these people that were banned.
Interesting. And when they banned Trump, how did they do it? Did they, like you said, did they completely scrub his? I bet they did. I bet he'd have to start from scratch.
And one thing
build up quickly.
What I would really like to know about President Trump, okay, when they banned President Trump from Twitter, this was a very dangerous time. The Capitol breach was going on.
Yeah.
We really didn't know what was going on. He was the president of the United States. They wouldn't put him on TV. He got banned from the president was literally being held hostage in the White House, unable to speak to the American people during a crisis day, which was the Capitol breach. And Elon Musk, when he takes over Twitter, he's going to have all the records, right? Because he'll own everything.
Oh, yeah.
I am dying to know exactly what happened at Twitter that day that resulted in the ban. And it's got to all be documented because everything's electronic and he'll have all the records because it's not like they're all in an office.
I think they wanted to ban him for a long time and that was just their excuse.
Well, what I mean is did it come like at the Dorsey level or did like some lower person just do it and then the uppers said, okay.
No.
There was a process and also did they get Did they get an email, like say from a Pelosi person or something?
No.
Did it something? There was
I bet Dorsey
something happened.
did it himself.
Well, we don't know.
Yeah.
And with
we might never know that.
Well, with Elon Musk taking over, he will have everything, all the computers, all the email cords, everything. He'll own it all.
Yeah.
And I think we will find out what transpired that day.
I just hope it's not one of those things where they sabotage it, like, you know what I mean, knowing the sale's going to go through and they go in and like put in viruses and all kinds of things.
These are
you know
liberals.
What I mean, remember when George Bush took over, they took all the W's off the keyboards
at the White House.
This is how liberals operate. If he buys it for $500 billion, you know, he has to make sure that they don't mess with the system or, you know, they might even start doing that today. Putting in viruses and screwing it up, so it's a big nightmare for him.
They're in a panic.
You know what? How do you prevent something like that, where you have some employee who could put a virus into the whole whatever they do and mess it all up, where there's tons of glitches and they taint it. You know, he's got to have a way to prevent that. They very well
could be doing it.
I'm just saying, I don't know if these things occur, but that's just kind of what I'm thinking off the top of my head.
And you know what? Here's another thing too. Okay.
And these are liberals we're talking
these
about. These
people that run Twitter are insane. You see how they've had meltdowns since he bought the 9.5% of the stock? They could do something to stop him from taking over. Yeah. They could do something like Kathy's talking about to completely destroy the platform so it's not usable for anybody.
That's what I'm worried about.
Like they could blow up the whole platform so it's not usable for anyone just so that they don't lose control of such an influential media source, Twitter. These is amazing.
People are not stable.
Well, I'll tell you, there are right now. It's not just the Twitter Silicon Valley people that are freaking out. Washington's freaking out right now.
There's a lot of people involved here.
Do you really think the deep state want Elon Musk and Nancy Pelosi and all of them want Elon Musk controlling the most influential?
No, because this is
outlet on the planet.
This is how they control messaging.
Everything.
News is driven by Twitter. I mean, you know, and no, they're going to be in a complete panic, but he needs to be I wanted to mention real quick something Governor DeSantis did, which is really exciting. He passed today. He signed a bill that there's an abortion ban. I've been waiting for him to do this. After 15 weeks, signed into Florida law. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed a 15-week abortion ban into law Thursday as the state joined a growing conservative push to restrict access to the procedure ahead of a U.S. Supreme Court decision. This will represent the most significant protections for life that have been enacted in the state in a generation, DeSantis said as he signed the bill. at an evangelical church in the city of Kissimmee. So this bans abortions after 15 weeks, which I think it should be even less. But that's fantastic. I mean, I don't know what woman in her right mind would do something like that after 15 weeks. That's
that's awesome.
insane. I mean, 15 weeks is almost 4 months.
Yeah.
16 weeks is 4 months. That is crazy. When you're 4 months, you are showing. I mean, there is definitely there's a heartbeat. There's definitely it's not just tissues, as they like to say. 4 months, you have a person developed, very well in there. You're showing. Your belly's getting bigger. I think it should be less than 15 weeks. I think it should be 6 to 8 at the most, if at all. I'd like to see it gone completely. But so that's good.
That's very good.
Where you have Colorado, where the governor just signed that I think you can abort your baby up till birth, and somebody had said even after. That can't be true.
Yeah.
After birth. Wait a minute. So he really signed that in Colorado?
Yeah, the late term abortions is what those are. Yeah.
How would that work?
I don't know.
That's just pure
evil.
evil.
I do know, though, there's a good thing that Ron DeSantis did.
Well, he's always doing good things.
That's right. Now, listen, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, there's a lot more to talk about. Don't go anywhere. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Back after this.
There's no doubt about it. The NBA is the most popular sports league in the world. If your kids aspire to be the next LeBron James, they're already hungry for basketball knowledge. And a deeper understanding of the rich and colorful history of the sport is only going to improve their practice and deepen their love of the game. In the book from author William Lawson, The History of NBA Basketball That Nobody Talks About for Kids, available on Amazon, is a perfect book for your kids who love the game. For children, understanding a little more about the history of basketball is a game changer. Watch their passion soar and their determination fly when they hear the inspirational stories behind the NBA's forgotten history. Give your kids the tools they need to explore the players and stories that make basketball the game it is today. And who knows, maybe you'll have the next big star of the NBA on your hands. The History of NBA Basketball That Nobody Talks About for Kids, from author William Lawson, is perfect for not just kids, but parents, grandparents, and teachers for classroom reading. Order your copy right now on Amazon. If you're a fan of anime, there's an online store you will love. Thamilla.com. THAMILLA. At Thamilla.com, you will find items featuring your favorite characters like Pokemon, Attack on Titan, Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, and more. Thamilla.com carry lamps, figures, hoodies, keychains, pins, mouse pads, and that's just the beginning. This is your one-stop shop for anime items and decor. You can also find them on Facebook, Instagram, and Etsy. Thamilla.com have an incredible selection of anime products to choose from. You will find great gift items too. Thamilla.com. THAMILLA. Made by fans for fans. Have you wanted to build your own website, but you didn't know where to even begin? If you're looking to build your own website easily and quickly, you need to check out OLIT.com. That's OLITT. At OLIT.com, you will find all the tools you need to build your very own website. OLIT.com is a website builder tool that allows small businesses to launch websites and online shops fast. You don't need any coding skills. Just drag and drop. Get an online shop at 60% off. Sell anything, everywhere, starting at just $2.50 per month. What are you waiting for? Go right now to OLIT.com. OLITT. Choose from their collection of over 200 premium designs that will fit any business. Beautiful pre-made websites. OLIT.com.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast. Broadcasting from sunny South Florida, Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Thanks for tuning in. Now, I got to tell everybody about something that some of you know about, but a lot of people do not. And everyone who is a conservative, who's MAGA, should be telling everyone they know about this. I'm talking about the Pluto app. And, one thing a lot of conservatives make the mistake of is assuming that everyone knows what they know. Not everybody knows what you know, okay? You know a lot. If you're listening to this program, you are some of the most informed people in America, not just because of me, because you're news junkies and you follow the news and and that's a good thing. So this Pluto app is amazing. I've known about Pluto for a while. It's a free app. It's available on your mobile devices and your televisions. We have it on our TV through Apple TV, and we have a Roku in the bedroom. We have it on Roku. Pluto. It's a completely free app, and it has really good programming on it. And I did not know that it had news on it. I was familiar with it, had not watched it.
Me either. We've been watching the Andy Griffith Show.
Yeah.
And like the Love Boat and stuff.
Yeah. We've had the Pluto app for a while.
Awesome.
I did not know there was news on it. I knew there were movies and TV shows, and they have stations. It's completely free app, completely free. That are like, there's one station, it's all Stargate. One station, it's all Andy Griffith. And Kathy and I have been watching the Andy Griffith Show the last week or two.
Yeah.
And you know what I haven't seen in one episode of the Andy Griffith Show that we've watched? And we've watched a lot of them in the last few weeks. And I'm sure there is one. We just, we don't watch every episode, but we turn it on, we watch.
They run them back to back.
Yeah, I haven't seen one black person on the Andy Griffith Show
No,
yet.
I have not either.
I'm sure there's an episode, but I've not seen it yet. But a long time ago.
But that's realistic for a town like that in North Carolina. Maybe it's based on Mount Airy, his hometown. And maybe when he grew up, there were no black people in that town. I mean, there are towns where there's no minorities. I mean, that's just the way it doesn't. That doesn't mean it's a racist town. That's just that's the way the demographics work out. Black people, it's not that they're not welcome. They just don't move there for some reason.
Well,
I don't know. Maybe that's
I don't know.
The way it was in his maybe there's an episode. You're right. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, Brock Peters comes to town, from To Kill a Mockingbird.
There you go.
Comes to town. I don't know.
He's a good actor, that
But so anyway,
it's a great show.
We've been watching a lot of the Andy Griffith Show, which is a very good show. And I used to watch it when I was a little kid. And I always liked that show a lot. And
it's a nice show.
It's funny because I used to watch the Andy Griffith Show a lot when I was a little kid. And I kind of thought that the star of the Andy Griffith Show was Opie Taylor because I was a little kid. And now I'm watching, and I've seen all these episodes pretty much. I can remember seeing most all of them we've watched, but it's like a whole new perspective because I realize Opie's not the star. Right?
Yeah, Barney is.
Barney and Andy are the stars.
At least for the first 5 seasons.
Exactly. But anyway, last night I was flipping through Pluto, and we just flipped on the news section, and this blew my mind. The news section on Pluto, which is a completely free app, has all the real news. They have Real American News, which is where Steve Bannon is. They have Newsmax. They have the Blaze TV, which I haven't seen too much of. I watched a little bit of Glenn Beck today. What a pontificating Beck.
He is so boring. I don't know how
he?
anybody can listen to him. He just reads a script. He's boring as hell.
He pontificates.
And he looks like crap, too.
And there's One American News. It's not the regular One American News, but One American News is there with a lot of their programming. And there's other outlets, too, Sky News. And they have all these conservative TV outlets that are banned off of all the cable systems or are limited in their reach on cable systems. And I'm so excited. I discovered this, and it's amazing. So it's Pluto, like the planet. I know they say it's not a planet anymore, but Pluto will always be a planet to me. But yeah, and it's completely free, not just on your mobile devices, your phone and iPads and all that stuff, but on your televisions and Roku and everything else. You really should check it out for the news, and it's really good. And I really enjoy Steve Bannon's show. I watch, about an hour of it a day, and it's very good. He hits on all the issues.
I wish you'd have the Australian news, though. I'd really like to see the Australian.
The Australian Sky News, I watch them a lot.
But they're on YouTube, aren't they?
Yeah, I watch them a lot on YouTube.
They have the UK version on Pluto.
The UK is not as good as the Australian version of Sky News, but yeah, so get Pluto, and
it's free. They have some commercials, but they're not like
very short.
They're like a minute long. Yeah, like literally, they're not long at all.
Yeah, so you guys should check it out, and you can get the real news and tell everyone you know about it, because I think a lot of people would love it. And one thing I like about it is all the news stations are one channel after the other, so you can just flip from one easily. And
they categorize them if you go on the one side of the.
It's not like on your cable box, 2 channels you watch are like 100 channels apart. They're like one right after the other.
I know. I wish that cable, like Xfinity, what we have, would categorize the channels the way they do on Pluto, and then you just have the categories on the left, like news. It could be like this, you'd have a news section, then you could have sitcoms, or you could have reality TV.
Yeah, they don't do that.
And they could put them all in categories, would be so much better.
So get the Pluto app and tell all of your friends about it. It's completely free. Okay. I wanted just to talk about one couple quick things here. Just one last thing on the Disney thing. I was talking to Kathy about this off the air, and I meant to mention it in the last segment. We were talking about the protest at Disney, and I had forgotten. Disney's gotten very political, and this has turned people off. You know, Disney World in Florida opened up in 1971, and Disneyland in California opened up, I'm not sure the exact year, but in the mid-50s. You know, they went through the entire war in Vietnam, the Watts riots, the L.A. riots after Rodney King, the O.J. Simpson trial, the most controversial things that this country has gone through in the last 60 years, and they never got political. You know, they didn't have people working at Disney. I'm sure, you know, young people have always been the primary workers at Disney, and I'm sure they were all anti-war during Vietnam. They weren't promoting their anti-Vietnam War stance.
I think they're making a huge mistake.
And they've gotten
so
political.
And now they've gone there. I don't know if they can take it back because they've drawn that line in the sand.
If they take it back, they'll be called transphobic.
Exactly.
There was an article a couple days ago that said every Disney heir has gay and transgender children.
How do they know
gay
this?
or transgender? Because they've all been coming out. Like there was one of the grandnephews who's a school teacher who's transgender.
Yeah, but the thing is, Disney was never anti-gay. It's not like, I don't know what they're fighting for exactly. It's not like they don't let gays go to the park.
Well,
Nobody checks your sexual orientation when you go to the park. Everybody's welcome. What the problem is they're backing this indoctrination of kindergartners where they have books and they're teaching in the classroom that you don't know if you're a boy or a girl. And you can decide when you're 14 years old what gender you want to be. It's all ridiculous.
It's absurd.
And that is the problem is they're getting political. They should have stayed completely out of politics. They should have said, we're not getting politically involved. We welcome everybody. We love everybody, but we're not going to get political. End of discussion. Bob Chapek bowed to the corporate people in California because he's afraid of losing his job.
Yeah.
So he came out and groveled and apologized and this and that. And you know, this is the side they've taken, and it's a big mistake.
Now, a couple things here. I want to mention this last thing here because this is I just mentioned one last thing, maybe two last things. I got a couple last things. We'll see. Maybe two, maybe one. We'll see. One of them involves Stacey Abrams for governor of Georgia. Stacey Abrams.
Oh, my Lord.
When she ran for governor the first time, Stacey Abrams, she was flat broke and was heavily in debt. She was flat broke and in debt.
And now look at her.
Now she's a multimillionaire. She's a millionaire many times over. I do not believe that Stacey Abrams wants to be the governor of Georgia. I believe she wants to run and lose. You know, she's made her millions in being a victim. She's oppressed. So if she wins, she's no longer oppressed and she becomes the man. Stacey Abrams does not want to be the governor of Georgia. She wants to lose because there's a lot more money to be made in being a victim, not the governor.
True.
And so no one's picked up on that. And
I mean, she was on Star Trek.
If she's president of the Earth on Star Trek Discovery.
I remember we were watching that.
What the hell?
And they had this whole buildup of who the president of the Earth was going to be. She arrives on a spaceship.
I thought it was going to be William Shatner.
Brian thought it was going to be somebody from the Star Trek world.
I thought it was going to be William Shatner.
Somebody huge.
You know.
And then Stacey Abrams comes off, and you didn't recognize her
who
first.
She was.
And I said, holy crap, that's Stacey Abrams. And you said, oh my gosh, you got to be kidding me.
And you know what?
You were like totally in shock.
This episode, it
show sucks anyway.
It shows something about Star Trek. This season of Star Trek Discovery takes place in like the 32nd century or something. It shows that in the 32nd century, they have not cured obesity, which is an interesting thing.
Yes.
So that's one thing. So don't buy anything that she wants to be governor because there's not as much money in that. Now, one last thing I just mentioned. I talked about this on the radio today, and I just wanted to mention this again at the end of this show because I want to hear Kathy's thoughts on this. Rachel Maddow, I want to see if you agree with me on this, Kathy. And you guys let me know about this in the comments. Rachel Maddow announced on her show. Now keep in mind, Rachel Maddow was number one in the ratings on MSNBC. And sometimes she would beat Fox News sometimes in different demos. I can't stand her. But she announced last night that after this month, she is going to only host her show one day a week, Monday nights, starting in May. I think what has happened here is I think Rachel Maddow, who's been acting strange the last one, I think she's had a complete nervous breakdown.
Yeah, I agree.
she thought she was going to bring down Trump with the fake Russia hoax. I think she is humiliated among her viewers who are pissed off at her because she was selling them false hope for 4 years. And she was getting information about the Russia hoax from insiders in Washington, some of them probably Republicans. And she thought she was a player in politics, and she found she was just being used.
That's exactly right.
Used by these Washington people.
I think you're dead on with that one.
And she's had a complete nervous breakdown, and she's only doing 1 day a week, probably because she's contractually obligated or needs the money.
I agree with you 110%.
One or the other. Yeah, that she's had a nervous breakdown.
Yeah, I think she's been very disillusioned, felt used, which she was.
Yep.
And she was used and she was lied to. She believed the lies. Mm-hmm. She if you watched her show, she was all in. I mean, she was completely 110% believing this BS. And all this stuff has come out where none of it was true. And she knows she was lied to. She knows she was used for her platform. And I think maybe someday she'll write about it or talk about it. But I think you're right. I think just being a part of that is making her sick. I mean, I could be totally wrong, but why else would she just walk away? Does nothing else make sense?
That's all that makes sense to me. Well, listen, we are out of time for today. My name is Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. And remember, we are now on all podcast platforms, including Spotify. We are even on Audible. We are on all podcast platforms. And if a new one pops up next week, we'll be on that one too. We are now on all podcast platforms. So make sure that you follow or subscribe to the Brian Craig Show podcast on whatever podcast platform you use for your podcast. All right, guys, we'll talk to you next time.
Are you ready for the next disaster? The world is an unpredictable place. You need to be prepared for anything. The book, AAA Survival Guide from Rocco Spinelli, is an urban survival book with what's going on in today's world, from wildfires in California, blackouts, hurricanes, and natural disasters to the extreme cold weather on the East Coast. AAA Survival is a book that's more important than ever, and everyone should have a copy on hand. This must-read book was #1 on Amazon's new release Natural Disaster Books. It's filled with valuable information, everything you would expect it to be, and more. Chock full of useful information that can help you in any crisis. Author Rocco Spinelli is a Bear Valley Springs ranger with over 2 decades of wilderness survival, urban survival experience, human and animal tracking skills. He's trained and volunteered for years at the Tracker School, a well-known survivalist, tracker, and teacher. He now teaches tracking and primitive wilderness skills at his tracking lab in Bear Valley Springs, California, and is offering his knowledge with you in AAA Survival. AAA Survival from Rocco Spinelli should be a part of your prep kit. Be ready for anything with this book. It makes a great gift too. Order your copy right now. AAA Survival from Rocco Spinelli, available on Amazon in both Kindle and paperback.